Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We're going to jump right into it this morning and get right to the meat and potatoes of this thing. Today, we're going to talk about covering the rabbit hole. Okay. Covering the rabbit hole, which is extremely important. Yesterday, we talked about assuming the sale. Okay. And now I want to just give you some examples of how you can cover the rabbit hole. Okay, so let's get right into the training this morning. Now, after you have assumed the sale, okay, you have told the customer, okay, you have told the customer that we're going to do this today, okay. Now it's up to the customer to either agree with you or disagree with you, okay. So I'm going to give you some examples. And when you talk about covering rabbit holes or handling their concerns or objections, it's more about you being creative. There's no roadmap, I could say, that gives you the ultimate direction you need to go in, but it's more about you being creative, okay? And so the customer, I say to the customer, we're going to get this coverage in place to protect your family today, okay? And then the customer says to me, no, I wanna think about it. So then I have a couple options here. Okay. The first option I have is you can always question the objection to get more of a better understanding. Okay. Always question the objection or concern to get a better understanding. But before you do that, you want to first acknowledge what they have said. This step never changes. So you would say to the customer, I understand. I understand. You want to think about it. Help. And then that's the acknowledgement. You're being open to what they're saying. And then I would question them and say, well, help me understand. Just I'm clear. What is it that you want to think about? Okay. And then the customer is going to now express to you more details behind I want to think about it. Because behind I want to think about it can be so many different thoughts, right? So then they may go into more detail by saying, I just started looking for this. And just remember, while they're talking, I'm writing everything down. I just started looking for this, okay? I'm really not sure what kind of plan I want to go with. They may say about 10, 15 things, okay? Because right now they're trying to convince you that they're not buying nothing today. So they're trying to close you now, okay? They're trying to close you. So you got to understand what's taking place here. So you're listening. You're just listening, okay? You're just listening. And they may say, I didn't know I was going to buy something today. I really need to do some shopping around. I need to talk to my wife. My kids are involved. So they give you a lot of different stuff. You write it down and you say, you know what? After they get finished, okay, you say to the customer, I appreciate you being open and honest with me today. I'm going to do everything in my power to try to help you and answer all your concerns so we can protect your family if possible. I appreciate you being open and honest. And then they'll say to you, yeah, I just had to tell you where I'm really at. And so you understood. And, and this is great. So now you know that this customer is not on board with buying nothing today because they want to think about it. And then you're going to know the laundry list of items that they want to think about. Okay. So after that moment, okay, there's a couple things you can do. You can pivot it back into the script. You're going to have to cover this rabbit hole sooner or later. Or if you got good rapport, you got a strong connection, with the majority of the time it's not strong enough. I just want to preface that. Then what you can do is you can try to handle it right then and there on the spot. So I'm going to show you two examples. How do you handle it right then and there on the spot? Okay. And then how do you handle it later? So I want to show you the later one first though. Okay. So I want to think about it. You question. First, you agree. You open to what they're saying. You ask them to give you more information behind the startups. I want to think about it. So vague. They tell you all the stuff. Okay. And then boom. A lot of times I want to add this. After they tell me all the stuff, I ask, is there anything else that's preventing you from moving forward today? Right. And then they may say some more stuff. And I'm writing all this down. And I said, thank you for being open and honest with me. I'm going to do my best. I can't make any promises, but I'm going to try to help you. I know you have a lot of concerns, which I appreciate you being honest. So then pivot back into the script. I keep going through the script, but I know I got to cover that rabbit hole. So I'm going to have to bring that conversation back up before I get to the rates, because if I don't, it's a strong chance. It's a strong chance if I don't bring it back up after I give them the rates, you're going to tell me the same thing over again, right? So in the benefit section is where I usually like to bring stuff back up again because it's positive. All the stuff they're getting and all the benefits of the plan. It's just very rewarding, for the customer. So I bring it back up. I regurgitate the conversation. I say, earlier you made it clear that you want to think about it. And there's a couple closes I'm gonna give you here. And I'll always go with this one first because I know it's always the money. And I said to the customer, I said, I know you have a lot on your plate. You shared all that with me, but if I could add, and I say this after an aha moment, like we laugh and we have a good connection and the conversation is flowing really good. And I always say this first. I know you want to think about it. I bring it right up. We laughing together. Ha, ha. Then I bring up, I know you want to think about it and you're concerned about, the price and shopping around and, talking to your kids. And I just start regurgitating everything they said. I said, I understand, but let me ask you a question. Sure. They're very open to what I'm about to say because I understand where they're coming from. So the key to sales is they have to understand where you're coming. You have to understand where they're coming from, and they have to understand where you're coming from. And then you can come to a happy medium. Okay. And so I say to the customer, if I could find something that's just affordable, that fits your budget, that made sense for you, because I know money is a huge part of this. Would you let me help you? I just go right for that. I try to get that out there right then and there. And they say, yeah, then I know, and a lot of times, the majority of the times they're going to say yes. So then I know when they said, I want to think about it, and they give me that laundry list, it's really about the money. But people aren't going to come out and say it's the money. They're going to come out and say, I want to shop around, which is the money. I want to talk to my husband, which is the money. I want to check and see what everybody else is doing, which is the money. It all is the money. It all is the money. It's always the money. That's been my experience. So I always come with the money close when I bring it back up. I'm teaching you something this morning. And so then I'm getting them to commit and say, man, this guy finds something that works for me. We can do business. See, the biggest issue a lot of salespeople have, they don't understand is always the money, right? Because if it was free, everybody would take it. So they get caught up on talking to their wives and shopping around. And, if they trust you, it's going to be the money. You need to talk to nobody if I'm giving it to you for free. But if it's affordable and it fits your budget, you can handle it, you still don't need to talk to nobody. So I go with that one first, and then I usually get them to agree with me. I say, you know what? So I'm going to play this out for you again. We laugh, I tell a joke, I laugh at their joke. Oh, man, we enjoying the conversation. I said, and just like this, how I do it. Earlier, you mentioned something that was so important. You told me that you really wanted to think about this, and I respect that. Listen to this. I respect that. I'm open to that. I respect that. Because, and you mentioned some very good points. You wanted to make sure you're getting the best plan. You want to talk to your kids, and you wanted to make sure that I'm not a scam artist, and your husband's important, and I understand that. But let me ask you a question. This is the close. Let me ask you a question. If I work as hard as I can to find something that worked for you financially, because I know if it was free, everybody would take it. If I found something that works for you financially, that fits your budget, would you let me help you today? Would you let me help you today? Can you promise me that? And the majority of the people are gonna think about that and be like, it fits their budget financially. If it makes sense financially, I keep striving it. Would you let me help you today? And the customer usually says yes. They usually say yes. And so then I just covered all those concerns she had with one question. Now, if she says to me, no, 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 okay, I really need to do my due diligence, and say people say this. Well, I know first and foremost at this point in the conversation, I haven't done a good enough job of gaining their trust. Because if they trusted me, and this is what I believe, if they trusted me, they wouldn't need to do no due diligence. They wouldn't do no shopping around. They would take the words that come out of my mouth like gold. Like I got kids, for an example, they trust me when I tell them something, they believe me, right? It should be the same way with a customer. If you gain their trust and they feel confident in you and what you're saying, then they're not going to look around. It's the same way they go to a doctor and they trust that doctor. They're not going to go get 6 opinions, right? It depends on the situation. I know this doctor. I trust this doctor. He's always been honest with me. I have a good relationship with him. He told me I got high blood pressure. I'm gonna take his advice on that, right? So it's a trust thing at that point. So you got to try to build a better connection, and the way you do that, okay, is you can do that by telling stories. Stories connect people together because they're experiences of real life. Okay, to gain that trust. But so if she did say something like that to you, you know what? I just can't commit to that. Then I need to go through that cycle again. Help me understand. I understand you can't commit, but if it was free, you would take it, right? Yeah. Now I'm closing this lady. But so you're saying you can't commit to that, or that man, I'm closing. You can't commit to what do you mean by that? I'm trying to get more deep to get more information behind. Maybe I can't make a decision without my kids because my kids cuss me out every time I make a decision, right? Or they come over and steal all my money. I mean, so all this stuff gonna start to come out. Or maybe I'm scared to death because I've been scammed 25 times before in my life and I don't want nobody to scam me again. I got to get to the root of why this person is not willing to give me the opportunity to try to close them. And usually there's a story behind it. And once I get to the root, the best way to get to the root is through the form of asking questions. And once I get to the root, I can deal with it and I can separate myself out from it. And I can tell when I get to the root because they start to share intimate details behind the decisions. For example, they want to shop around. I say, help me understand. Now I'm going back through the cycle. You want to shop around. I'm going after this puppy right now. I'm not pivoting out of this and coming back. I'm going at it. I did that already. I got to get this done. We're in the benefit section. The rates are coming. So I'm going at this puppy. Help me understand. I know you really want to think about it. Something happened, or what transpired that have you so hesitant to take advantage of such a great opportunity for you and your family? I'm selling them on telling me the truth, right? I need to get it out so I can separate myself if it's possible. And then they may say, you know what? I bought something on the internet and I just got taken advantage of. My kids cussed me out. I felt so stupid. They belittled me. And I made a decision. I'm not buying nothing over the telephone ever again. I'm like, wow, I understand now. That must have been. Then I showed some sympathy and some empathy. That must have been tough for you. I had a very similar experience. That's the empathy. The sympathy is that must have been tough for you. The empathy is I had a very similar experience. And then I share that with them and I say, but I learned if a good opportunity, then I got to close them. If a good opportunity presents itself and I trust the person who's helping me, I learned that I have to be open to change. I said, are you open to change? Because I learned that was a tough pill to swallow because me and you, I feel, have a strong connection, a strong relationship, and it's built on trust. Now I'm asking you, will you trust me and allow me to help you? So here we are. I isolated was 2 things here I'm talking about. I talked about the money, and if it ain't the money, guess what the second one I went to? It's always gonna be the trust. I'm telling you, if it is free and they trust you, why wouldn't they buy? Right? If it costs, they ain't gonna buy it because they can't afford it, but if they don't trust you, you don't have a chance. And I just go right forward and with as sincerity as possible, because I'm not a scam artist. I'm not ripping people off here. I'm actually helping people and saving people's lives. You can be convicted when you talk to people about this. And then I'm trying to get them to agree with me. I got to get them to say yes to me. I agree with you, David. I'm on board with this, right? I am closing this sale before I give them the rates. contingent on it being affordable. That's always going to come down to that, right? Nobody's going to say yes and it come out to be $1 million, right? It has to be affordable. So that's one way to handle covering the rabbit hole. I'm just giving you some examples here, some language, some things that I work with, so you can implement them into your pitch. Okay. Now the other way, the other way to cover the rabbit hole, is very, very, very simple. And this is after they've told you, you tried to assume the sale, and the customer has told you, no, we're going to go with, no, I'm not making any decisions today. And now I'm going to teach you how to handle it head up. And then you only want to go head up with them if you got that head up relationship, because if they get irritated or feel like you're pressuring them or you're strong arming them, they're going to hang that phone up. People are less likely to do that if you circle back around and you approach it after an aha moment, after you guys laugh together, grip on something. Okay. So here we go. Nah, I'm just not making no decision today. I get it. I understand where you're coming from. It's a lot. Yeah. And let me ask, what's really holding you back? You know, what's really, I mean, if it was free, it would be an easy decision, right? What's really holding you back? Is it the money? If it's the money, is it the money? Is it being affordable? And usually I'm always going to lean towards the money because that's the easiest one to handle, and that's the truth typically. All right. And then, yeah, you know, you're right, if it was free, I would take it, but I just want to look around and make sure I'm not getting taken advantage of. You're a nice guy and all. You don't sound like a scam artist, but I just want to check everything out. I get it. So let me ask you a question. I got to close the close. If I could find something that's affordable for you, and if I could, give you that confidence that I am who I am, will you feel peace of mind? Will you let me help you? So this is what I did. I eliminated the concerns by she saying, it's checking you out, so I know it's a trust and make sure it's affordable. So I get them to agree with me. If I can eliminate those concerns, would you let me help you, right? And so then the customer says, yeah, if you can find something that's affordable and you can make me feel comfortable, and then I'll let you help. And then I'm like, bam, then here comes the close, okay? Well, I want you to know that everything we do today is going to be for you. Okay, listen to me. It's going to be for you. That means the price is going to be for you. It's going to fit your budget, because these plans are only designed for people who are on a limited fixed income like yourself. So you're in the right place at the right time. But most importantly, the trust that me and you have built, and the art of storytelling, here we go, is how you gain that trust. Me sharing with you how I'm putting this in how I lost my grandmother, and what we had to go through, and you sharing with me how you lost your grandmother, that connection we established. That's why I'm committed to helping you, and I help a lot of families each and every day, just like yourself, with these uncertainties. So you can trust me that everything I say and I do today for you is going to help you and put you in a better position. Can I count on you to do that? So I bring up a story where we connected on that has the ability to drive out those negative thoughts. And then I get them to agree with me. And if they say yes, got it. Because the ultimate result that I want is when I get to the end of this sales process, I want that customer to buy from me, or I want them to hang the phone up on me. I don't want to be battling with objections, okay? So I just given you 2 examples on covering the rabbit hole, how to circle back around, and how to handle it head up. And I've given you some different strategies in those examples. I've given you some different strategies that you can use. One thing I always try to clean up first is the money. I always assume it's the money, because I knew if it was free, everybody would be getting life insurance all day long. And then the second thing I always assume is about trust, right? Trust, because people don't want to get scammed. They don't want to get lied to. They don't want to get taken advantage of. And so that's the second one I clean up. And those are the 2 that you've learned to focus on when you're selling this product from the beginning: money and trust. It is much easier to gain people's trust way before you start assuming the sale, Because once you start assuming the sale, the customer can start to believe that you're trying to gain their trust because you want them to agree with you and you want them to see it the same way you do. But before that, it's a free and open conversation with no pretenses. So the customer don't have those type of thoughts. So that's all I got for you today. Different examples, covering the rabbit hole, and you can use them. Use them to your advantage to help people buy life insurance, protect their family, and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.